So good morning, good morning, good morning. Here we are, living in the year of 2025, and the reality is that Just a minute. We'll finish playing this.
With people over ownership of resources. You use resources, so while you're in a place, you can say we're using these resources, but when you leave, other people can come in and use those resources. So the economics and politics of immigration is just not going to be at this level. Tribal society is multiple families living together, tend to be semi-sedentary. They're probably going to adopt some type of early agriculture. You start to see people talking about ownership of resources. This is our plot of land. This is our food. This is where we access water and those types of resources. This is where you start to see rules develop over who can access resources, and you start to see rules about keeping others out. We don't want other people who are not part of us to come in here. So you start to see the economics and politics that we would associate now with immigration starting to form. Definitely start to see it when you get chiefdoms where you have recognized leadership. When you're looking at hunting gathering societies, when you're looking at tribal societies, oftentimes it's still family level organization. Grandma's in charge, and we all know that. Grandpa's in charge. Aunts and uncles are in charge. People who are younger are not in charge. But when you get to chiefdoms, this is where we have enough people who are living together who are not closely related that you don't have a grandma that everybody shares or a grandpa that everybody shares. So you start to pick somebody that all of the different families trust, and that person becomes the chief, and that person is responsible for making sure that ownership of resources is protected. Because literally political organization starts in human societies over making sure that people's ownership of resources is protected. So now you're going to see really kind of firm rules about who can live within the group, because now ownership is identified within the group, and you don't want to have outsiders coming in and trying to usurp control over those resources. So now you're going to see politics really get involved. Political leadership is going to be responsible for what we would now call immigration of people in. When you get to a state, so you have many chiefdoms starting to live together, and then nation state is many states starting to live together, you're going to have lots of unrelated people having to interact with each other. You start to get really strong independent leadership. This is sedentary living. People have property ownership of where they live. They have property ownership of places or things where they earn money. And so you have very strict rules for who can live within the group. And your economics and your politics are very tied into this notion of private property and this kind of idea of who is us and who is them. And you need leadership that makes sure that those rules, that balance between us and them, are strictly enforced to make sure that ownership of resources, which equals power, is maintained. And then kind of the last phase is empire building, and we're now at the end of the empire building phase where we've moved into a whole different way of looking at economics and politics. But empire building actually kind of flips immigration onto its head. And so up until we get to like nation states that start to empire build, you're seeing people coming into the nation state and the nation states having to figure out how to either integrate those people in or keep them out or define what their status is. When you have a nation state that starts to empire build because its population level is so large now that it needs to bring in more resources, you're having a nation state grow through conquest. It's actually going out to other groups and taking over their resources. And so it's not people moving in, the nation state is moving out and is taking over other people's resources and is taking over outside populations and making them part of us. And so when you look at differentiation between us and them into empire builders, now things get murky and things get gray. Because if you have England going and enveloping Native American societies and saying, we're going to take you over, and so Native Americans are now living within the English Empire.
No, because they simply as an American, what is it that you do?
My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. There's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. Learn there's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. For better. I think they mad that I said something. Ugly nigga for ransom. But my brother's alright. I'm trying to be a provider. Where I'm from is alright. Safer to keep silent. It's hard for me to choose you. Scare my life would abuse you. My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. There's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. For better. And I can't wait to tell my mama that I made it. Man, I'm tired of the stressing and I'm tired of this fake shit. I see the vision, say there ain't no being lazy. Gotta wake up early morning, yeah, the money never waiting. My mama showed them different when you worry about your bitches. Stack your dreams, travel far, forever, she mentioned. I pray my love a better way in 7 days. Cause the people in my city really steady, ain't been shady. R.I.P. dope boy, ain't get to make it through. Man, I'm truly scarred, why it had to be you. Do it on your own, now you had to lose your life. We just wouldn't make it out, see it back and catch a flight. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. There's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. For better. Keep it real, I don't know who to trust. They love you when you down, but they hate you when you up. How you my brother, but you stealing from me blood. I just peep shit, now I gotta like a trust. She been welling on me, though for real. Ever since my brother died, mama said I need to chill. Baby, take your time, I promise you gotta heal. I just push her to the side, but I still feel it still. I've been hurting, broke past, got me spurging. Cool mask, I've been purging. Glizzy cocked back, got my mind set on murder. Got my mind set on murder. My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. There's no forever. We on search for better. We on search for better. For better.
See, we could search all we want to Here. They're listening. They are definitely listening. Hey, and what about the clapping? Does it work? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sandra Crosgrove back on, because, she had a lot to say, but you didn't understand she had a lot to say. But she's trying to do her job. And as you need to understand, it was 8:30. What's happening? I didn't hear it. I heard something. Yeah, it's just real. Well, Sandra Crosgrove, what she did and what she was supposed to be doing is supporting, from the Democratic side, the democracy, and it's broken. So, I heard somebody loud and clear, but I didn't see nobody. So, we're going to finish listening to Sandra Crosgrove. Here we go.
And you're going to have people within England say, no, hold on. You're still them, but we have to figure out what them. Taxpayer for the United States with immigration, because we don't consider ourselves to be empire builders, yet we are. We empire built in Latin America. And so we went and enveloped Latin America. And so the people in Latin America look to us and say, no, we're part of us now, not them. And yet within the United States, you have people saying, no, you're still them. And the people who are in political power have not settled what reality actually is. So when you look at colonialism and immigration, you have local populations fleeing sometimes to somewhere else. They're being pushed to somewhere else. And then when they go to someplace else, how are they treated by the others? How are they treated when they arrive? Because they might arrive and say, no, we're part of you. And the people who are already there, the country they're fleeing to, may say, no, you're not. You're still somebody else. You're still them. You're inferior. You're not citizens. You have no access to resources. And you're definitely not going to get voting rights or be able to run for office.
But you can pay taxes.
But then what's interesting is when we're making up those rules and we're saying you're not this, you don't have access to this, but you can be workers and taxpayers. We'll let you do that. And so you have this very strange relationship where people are allowed in, and they want to be able to integrate in because they do see themselves as us, not them. But the people they are integrating into feel threatened by them. And we need to talk about, is it economic threat or is it a political threat? And they say, no, you can't be us, and we're not going to give you rights, but we'll allow you to be here, to be workers and taxpayers. This is not sustainable. You can't have this. Eventually, this system is going to break down, and it has to be fixed. So let's look at immigration in U.S. history. When you look at the colonization of North America, when we're looking at the colonization of the Americas, you've got Spain, France, Holland, and England. Spanish colonization, only Spanish citizens can go and live in the Americas, and then they're going to expand out a little bit, and they'll say others can come here as long as they're Catholics. This is why one of the revolutionary heroes in Argentina is Bernardo O'Higgins, because Irish were allowed to go into Latin America, into the Spanish colonies, and eventually the Spanish countries because they're Catholics. Strict control over settlement, strict control over who's allowed to come in, very strict control over resources. It was not sustainable. You're not going to be able to evolve beyond the empire phase when you're doing this. France, which is going to go into what we know as Canada, only there for the fur trade, only wanted to be a commercial outpost, so trading posts, no settlements, very strict control over who could live in the French colonies. This is also not going to be sustainable because eventually you're going to need to be able to hold the land and hold the resources to protect your access. And if you don't have enough people on the ground, not going to be able to do that. Holland also, the Dutch were just here for the fur trade. They have trading posts, they have settlements. They're going to be different, and they allow anyone to live and work in their settlements. They see the value of having outsiders move in, make them part of us to help that kind of profit-driven goal that they have. More people for them equals more profit. But there's not going to be enough investment into the Dutch colonies for it to be sustainable, and so it wasn't able to be sustained, and it will go away. All right, let's talk about England, because we have to understand what England did with immigration to understand why the United States has a very weird relationship with immigration. England, the United Kingdom, is a bunch of small islands. It is a very small country. So as your population starts to grow, you're going to start having to push your people out because you're going to overshoot the carrying capacity of your country. And so as England's population is getting larger and larger and larger, and you've got more and more poor people because your population is ballooning, but you don't have more resources, when England decides to go into North America and create colonies, unlike all of the other European countries that went into North America, with kind of the exception of Holland, England's going to have a liberal immigration policy. Are you poor? Great, go to the colonies. Puritans, yeah, we don't like you, go to the colonies. Catholics, you're complaining, go to the colonies. Lower gentry, you want to have land? Great, go to the colonies. And as they start realizing the more people we have in North America, the easier it is for us to maintain power because we can hold the land and we can profit for more resources. The politics and the economics of the colonial period in U.S. history is that immigration is a good thing. You want to have more people come. The more people that get here, the more land we can control, the more resources we can develop, and we can just keep pushing west. And so you don't see people politically or economically as we go from the colonial period.
The spatial ID shit is real.
You don't see people talking bad about immigration. It is a very good thing.
Enjoy. Now they're playing it. Not me even playing it.
My city on fire.
See, this is what's wrong with this app. Because I didn't try to play that, and it's not showing it's playing anymore. It's going. Never let you people get in the game. They don't know how to get out of this.
My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. There's no forever. We on search for better. We on search for better. For better. I think they mad that I said something. Ugly nigga for ransom. But my brother's alright. I'm trying to be a provider. Where I'm from is alright. Safer to keep silent. It's hard for me to choose you. Scare my life with abuse you. My city on fire. I'm sorry I'll fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. There's no forever. We on search for better. We on search for better. For better. And I can't wait to tell my mama that I made it. Man, I'm tired of the stress and I'm tired of this gangster. I see the vision said there ain't no being lazy. Gotta wake up early morning, yeah, the money never waits. My mama showed her living when you worry about your bitches. Take your friends, travel far fast, but she missing. I met my love a better way in 7 days, cause the people in my city really stay acting shady. R.I.P. no boy ain't get to make it through. Real truly scar, why it has to be you. Do it on your own, now you have to lose your life. We just wouldn't make it out, see if they get to fight ya. I'm sorry, I'll fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. There's no forever. We don't search for better. We don't search for better. For for better. Keep it real, I don't know who to trust. They love you when you down, but they hate you when you up. Now you my brother, but you still ain't call me blood. I just peep shit, now I got it like a truck. Shit been welling on me, no for real. Ever since my brother died, mama said I need to chill. Baby, take your time, I promise you gotta heal. I just push it to the side, but I still feel it still. I've been hurting, broke past got me spurging. Through months, I've been purging. Busy cock back, got my mind set on murder. Got my mind set on murder. My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. There's no forever. We on search for better. We on search for better. For better.
See, I don't even know where that's playing from. So you can't, of course, you can't stop it because it just continues. And
If you have more workers than jobs, it gives us more power when it comes to wages and working conditions. This is where you start seeing people at the lower classes, the working class, small farmers, but definitely the working class, starting to feel negatively about immigration because they feel like it's being weaponized. Happening. Don't want the people who are poor in their party. So you're talking about from 1870 to about 1900. Workers.
So it's just kind of,
Stop. No.
it's iconic. I think it's insanity
But they said
that we are still not talking about. Just a minute, walking past the world. The wind. There's actually wind coming into my home. Keeping it cool right here. How'd that happen? Did you need to lock yourself or somebody locked you out? Me. Must have been me, I don't know. It was locked though. Now it's locked again. What's going on? You're still in your head.
Say what?
Oh, I was just talking about immigrants coming here. I was listening to this show yesterday. Sandra Cosgrove did. And she was talking about, manpower and how certain employment things are Yeah, they're laying them off.
Resorts World and Bamboo right now.
They're laying everybody off because if you just understand how the enough resources, then charging them $25 for the pictures wasn't taking it because people are not partying like that. Not here. Not here.
No more.
No, they don't have the resources, and all the Martha Stewart went to jail and then got down for insider.
Jail.
Thank you. If they're going to keep on, if they can prosecute based on what happened to Martha Stewart, a lot of them bitches is making money. They shouldn't be making money. That's just real. I can't have that because my eyes are dry today. I've been trying to moisture them up. I don't know what's going on. I need to drink more water. So today is my water day. And my eyes are certainly dry today.
You need some more weed in your college.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good until Wednesday.
Gave you some money because
I know. I appreciate it. And now I'm going to go in there and swipe my card and see if I get $5 or $10.
I told Natalia, I said I ain't gonna move the cards. She need to make some money before I move it.
Why? Is we under half?
No, I just said
Oh,
mentally, you got to hit before you can.
I got to hit.
Get it.
I'm always going to let you use the card, though. It ain't got nothing to do with that.